The Big 12, a great platform. Normally every game comes down to one possession, and we were blessed defensively to contest some shots. They missed some shots. Coach Dixon's a great coach. They had some good looks. 5 for 19 is not a typical outing by them, but I like to credit our defense a little bit too, and I thought we did a good job making things difficult for some of the time. And the big thing is when you play TCU, you gotta do a good job on the glass, and we did that. And you got to do a good job in transition, and we did a good job keeping them out of transition for most of the night.
Scott, what was it about the zone that was working so well for you guys, and is that the best it's played?
Well, it works better when people miss shots, and again, that's the thing that's tough in coaching. Like, you'll go back and look, and you're like, man, that was a great look. That was a great look. So they missed some good ones, but we did a good job contesting quite a few as well. So there's always a combination in that. And part of that's both of us played on Saturday, and you turn around and play on Monday. And at the end of the day, you play so hard in the Big 12, it takes some out of you.
How much of a lift did Jalen give you at the start of the game?
I thought Jalen has really been consistent, but I think in the last couple games he's been more aggressive, and we need that. He has the most experience. We have 4 guys that are starting with him that have never played a Big 12 game before. So we need his leadership and him to be assertive, and he was great tonight.
Scott, speaking of leadership, Langston is still on the bench. Is there any thinking that he might play today, or what was?
Yeah, it is a game time decision. It comes down to that day, and I mean he's real close, but. He tried at BYU and then re-aggravated, so he's a tough kid. He'll play when he can.
Coach, do you like running zone? Some coaches like it, some coaches don't.
You know what I like is winning, and we'll play a box and 1, triangle and 2. We'll play no defense, whatever it takes to win. But I think the last 5 years we've been really good in man. So credit the guys for listening and buying in and trusting us. And some games we play zone, some games we play man.
Coach Jacoby said that you put the roadkill video up to motivate the players for the game. What was the motivation heading into this game and helping?
I don't think we had to put that up from the standpoint we lost a 3 overtime game at home. And TCU's a great program, and Coach Dixon's a great coach. They never beat themselves. You have to beat them. But at the same time, that's the one thing you miss is playing everybody twice. It is really hard to sweep teams because you got a lot of winners and tough guys and pride, and people don't like getting swept. So I credit our guys for having the fight they did today.
Coach, I think after the last game, you said Yves was kind of hard on himself just after that game. But what you got to see from him in practice the last few days, and how good was it to see him have this solid game?
Well, we really have a good group of guys. They support one another. The guys really like one another, and that makes it easier for them to play with a culture of joy, Jesus, others, themselves. And when they play the right way and moving the ball and sharing it, we're really good. And human nature, sometimes you try to take over or do too much. But from day one, this group has liked one another, respected one another. They've been great to come to practice too. Normal years, you got 1, 2, 3 energy vampires and people that you got to constantly try to prod along and help, and we don't have any.
Scott, early on, they were finding some holes in the zone, like particularly in the baseline and stuff. Did y'all do anything to kind of nullify that?
I think the more you get used to what people are doing, the more you can anticipate it. They did a good job mixing some things up. At the end of the day, if you have good shots and you miss them, it's frustrating as a coach. But I thought for the most part, we didn't give them a ton of those.
Coach, this is a question regarding just college basketball and the trend of, there's a lot of commentary about whether or not storming the court should be banned. You've been on the receiving end of that, I think both ways. Do you have any thoughts about whether or not fans should be allowed on the floor after a big win or not, or that should be done away with?
To be honest, we lost 2 games in a row, and I know that's been a conversation, but I haven't had a second to think about it. So if people do storm the court, you have to make sure that there's a way to protect the players. And if there's not a way, then you can't do it.
Coach, another dominant performance on the glass kind of after that BYU mishap. How do you think your team's responded after that tough week of practice?
Well, I think it's more than a tough week of practice. The guys are prideful, and they know at BYU we didn't compete, and they want to compete.
Coach, it seems like everything's kind of coming together right now with your squad. Do you think they're kind of peaking at the exact right time?
Coming off 2 losses, I don't know if we're peaking, but I would say we have a lot of new pieces, and that gives you hope that we still have room to improve and get better. It's not a lot of schools are playing as many freshmen as we are, starting freshmen, and they constantly get better and they learn, and they're put in different situations. Like every game is a teaching experience, and things that you took for granted, you just have to reteach because everybody's rosters flip so quick. And things that you assume normally people in your program 3-4 years you don't have to say, but if you got a bunch of new guys, you're constantly going over everything, and you can imagine how many different scenarios there are.
Scott, did you like Ray J's line, 999? I guess the 5 turnovers hurt.
Yeah, that line I didn't like, but it's better than 8 from last game. So Ray J is asked to do a lot on our team, and the one thing that he does is he's a great leader, and the players really respect him. And since the day he stepped on our campus, he's been a servant leader, and because of that, he's really easy to follow, and we wouldn't trade him.
Coach, you mentioned the roster turnover that we see in college basketball now. How challenging is it to maintain team dynamics and culture when you face it all the time?
I think we're all going through this at the same time. I mean, there's always changes, but there's never been this many dramatic changes. And I think it starts with first people would graduate in 4 years, and they wouldn't think of coming back for a 5th year because they'd go to the G League, they'd go overseas and make money. Now they want to come back because of NIL, so that's different. And then you have being able to transfer and play right away. I mean, most coaches are used to recruiting 3 or 4 guys a year, and you get them for 3 or 4 years, and whatever the rules are, we'll adjust to them. But obviously, you can imagine just whatever job you do, if it's 3 times the work, and what I mean by that is normally you bring in 3 guys, let's say, and now you're bringing in 9. It's just different.
Anything else?
Thank you, guys.
Matt.
Coach, come in.
Jacoby, defensively, it seemed that y'all gave TCU a lot of problems. What was just working for you guys on that?
I think it's the mindset we had coming into the game, being that we lost them in triple overtime last time. We just had a lot of motivation, and we just wanted to really focus on the defensive end and then just get out and score on the offensive end.
It seemed like you guys' zone defense having surprised.
I mean, if they looked at the scout, they know we do zone, so I don't think they were surprised, but I think we were just executing very well.
Jacoby, I heard you at the end of the game saying road kill like they did in Waco. Did that feel pretty good? I mean, what was the mood beating them?
Yeah, before the game, Coach Drew put it on the screen, and we had to watch it. So we watched the whole time after they beat us, so that was on my mind the whole game, going into the game. So as soon as we won, I'm screaming the same thing they were, roadkill.
Just how sweet is this, especially after the way the first one went?
It's really good winning. I mean, after a tough game like Houston, and part of it is also on me. And just winning is a good feeling, especially today.
Did Coach challenge you at all, before this one, just to kind of maybe step up on defense?
He just trusts me. He just trying to make me bounce back from that game, and then looking for the next one. So that's what I try to do.
Anything else from the players?
Jacoby, it looked like you kind of blew a kiss to the students after, I guess they were chanting air ball or whatever. Talk about that moment.
Yeah, they were chanting air ball after I missed obviously. Yeah, I airballed, but next one I'm still shooting, knock it down, and I had to shut him up, so blew him a kiss.
Jacoby, talk about what happened with you and O'Bannon there. Was it just frustration, just trying to get the ball?
I think he was frustrated. I was perfectly fine. I was just making a hustle play. I tried to get up. He wasn't letting me get up, and then he wrapped me up, and then I just reacted by telling him to get off me, and then they got all physical. But I think it was really just a hustle play, and I think he was mad.
Jacoby, did you have a bunch of family friends here for this one?
Of course, yeah. Me being from Dallas, a lot of people came out today, and then that was extra motivation. Saw some women in the crowd, saw a couple friends. So, yeah, I definitely had a lot of motivation and a lot of support here today.
You mentioned it a little bit after that Houston game, kind of team feeling down. How big of a win was this heading in? Obviously, you guys tied with TCU, no longer sitting in that fourth spot.
It felt good, just get this win and then focus on the next one on Saturday. We also have a big one on Saturday and Monday, so it was just a good feeling, just bouncing back from that Houston game.
Do you always have to be ready when Ray J has the ball?
You never know, you can come from anywhere, so I just gotta be ready.
Yeah, he was diming the ball at the end. Facts.
Speaking of him tonight, he had 9 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. What does he offer to you guys?
Without Ray J, we're not the same team. He sacrifices a lot. He last year averaging 20 points, but now he's running the offense. He's getting a lot of assists, like you said, 9, 9, and 9. I think that's the most elite stat line of the night for sure. He did a lot for us, and then so we owe a lot to Ray J.
How much did it help Jalen getting off to the start that he did in that first half?
You can always count on JB to come out hot, and JB, he definitely sparked it for us, and then as they were hitting shots, he was the only one hitting shots too, so he was keeping us in the game. I think it's that senior leadership that they both have, and then just them being veterans and being in the moment, they just always step up.
Anything else for players? All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks again.
Appreciate y'all.
Emmanuel, it looked like Baylor's defense gave you guys a lot of problems tonight. What were they doing well, and what was that challenge like for you guys?
First and foremost, really shout out to Baylor. They came in, they competed, they played hard. They were down a player, and they're 6-man, but they played hard on defense. They threw the zone out for 40 minutes, and we just had no answer. To put it point blank, we had no answer. But I keep talking about lessons and learning from our mistakes, and that's what we have to do. This loss hurts. It definitely stings a little bit. But guess what? We have BYU Saturday, right? So just got to learn from this game. Got to understand that teams are going to be watching this game. They're going to see that we struggle against zone. We're going to go over this. It won't happen again, and just get better from it.
Did they play a lot of zone in the first matchup too, or were they mainly playing man?
They played man, but then when we was hurting them in their man defense, they switched to the zone for a couple of possessions. We knew they were going to play zone just because they're down players, guys are playing heavy minutes, so they need to save their bodies. That's why we realized they would play a little bit of 2-3 zone. We didn't expect them to play zone for 40 minutes, but regardless if we expect it or not, we got to execute better. We got to run our offense. We got to just get the ball moving, swing side to side, collapse the defense, do the little things it takes to break the zone.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
We're very disappointed by how we performed tonight. Ask you, did you see it coming? Were you ready to play? They were right there, ask that. Our practice yesterday based on Saturday's game. I thought we had as good a day of preparation in between as you could possibly have. Our shoot around was as good as it could possibly be. The intensity, we had all kinds of energy. I thought when we went through the walkthrough, the details, I thought they were there. The guys were focused in. They said in the pregame warm-ups we were ready. It was good. I think I heard one of the coaches said it was as good a warm-up we've had, and then we just came out and performed like that. So give Baylor credit. Obviously we knew they were going to play some zone. They'd played a bunch in the last game. We've seen it before. We run the same zone, actually. We just didn't get it done in a variety of ways. So we can list them, we can go through them, but it was just obviously I'm disappointed for our fans, disappointed for our players. I'll take responsibility. I thought we had them, But what we tried to do in attacking the zone was, and what the message and the plan and the attack, we didn't do anything that we wanted to do. And so that's on me. You know, you have a game plan, you have an attack, you have what you want to do, and your job is to get them to do it. And I didn't get them to do it. So decision-making was atrocious. The transition early, we blew some of them, gave them away, then we missed open shots, and still it's a 2-point game at halftime. So, you know, nothing seemed to go our way. And then they got every long rebound in the second half. And, you know, so again, we got out rebounded 12. I'll take responsibility for that. We didn't make open shots. We took bad shots, and we missed. We over-penetrated, and so it's on me. So that's where we're at. So congratulations to Baylor. They were coming off 2 losses. We beat them there. We played well Saturday. You'd think we'd come out and play well. We didn't. And we got what we deserved.
You guys started the game 4-8 against the zone, so it looked like the game plan started off pretty good, I guess, from your viewpoint. What kind of happened after, I guess, that 15-minute mark?
Yeah, I mean, I think there were some transition opportunities we blew. We had a couple that we threw away. Some of the passes we made were unbelievable. I mean, we had a lob at the end, I mean, from the start to the finish. So, I mean, we were impatient. I think decision, as I mentioned earlier, decision-making wasn't very good. The passes were the over-penetration. I mean, I think I kind of touched on it, on all those things, but over-penetration was one of them. Passes were too late. Missed some open ones. Didn't get to the foul line enough. I mean, there's a variety of reasons. And then, in the end of the day, you got to, if you're taking good shots, which I don't think that we were in our rhythm, in normally how we do, then you get offensive. Missing open shots, you get offensive rebounds, and we got killed on the glass. So we hadn't even talked on that one yet. But it's amazing that we only had 7 offensive rebounds on the number of. We had 20% of the offensive rebounds of our misses. Our goal's 40. I mean, came up short in a lot of areas. So I don't know, Stephen, where you're going to go with, but there's about 7 or 8 things I just gave you there. Take your pick.
How close was Ernest to playing today?
I mean, you'd have to ask him. That's it. It's his decision. So I don't. Those are their decisions and players' decisions, and so couldn't tell you.
When it comes to the line, they talk about it. It's just a question of like anxiety and trying to do too much. And
It's usually doing too much and over. I use the word over penetrating. I think 3-4 times, a couple times on the radio. So I'm going to go back to that one again. Shot selection wasn't good, but yeah, I mean, but with that said, we had some outlets that we threw away. We had a layup at the end that we threw out of bounds by about, I don't know, 15 feet. So that's not ball hang. But, you know, it's something that I'm big on fundamentals, details. We've really, I think, improved if you look at Jameer and Avery's numbers over their careers in here. But tonight was not the case. And so we work really hard at it. And today it came back and caught us. So we got what we deserve. So, you know, I mean, there's so many things. We had 25 deflections the first. I thought we played hard defensively once we got going in this first half. We had 25 deflections. We didn't come up with loose balls. Second half, it seemed like we got a couple of stops and we couldn't come up. They got the second shots. I mean, it wasn't our night. And again, I'll give you those 6 or 7 reasons I've got. So I think I got one for each of you can go with. But just a horrible performance. And you know, again, did you play hard enough? I mean, we had 25 deflections in the first half. That's probably about as good an indicator as you can have of how hard you're playing. And we just couldn't come up with a ball, a loose ball, a deflection, a long rebound. And they hit some tough ones. They hit some wide open ones early. They hit the 3 at the end of the clock that obviously was guarded well. It's just one of those nights. And we have to respond. And as I've told our guys, we've responded before to a bad performance. We have to respond again. So that's where we're at. We've got Saturday. We've got BYU, 7 o'clock. And we have to take tomorrow off. But we've got as everybody does in our league, you have these days where you just come back and you don't. This was as bad as I think we could be. But outraged by 14 turnovers, 33% from the field. Made some free throws. That was about the one thing we did, percentage-wise. So, it was. I just didn't think our shot. They might have been open, but they weren't like the rhythm shots. Catching it in rhythm like we normally do. That to me was the case.
Anything else for Coach? Okay, thanks.
All right. Thank you.